They hated them. They might have had a good reason to hate them, but we can't condone vigilantism. When you calmly and logically looked at the facts surrounding the killing, it's a murder.
Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing another true crime story, the Menendez Brothers, because it's always been a fascinating case, but especially in the last 2 weeks it's been really talked about. So we're gonna get into a lot of things. Let's get right into this. Listen, you guys, true crime stories can be fascinating, disturbing, and often controversial. Some of these stories grip public attention for decades, drawing in questions of morality, justice, and humanity. Today, as I said, we're diving into the case of the Menendez brothers, Lyle and Erik, a case that left the nation shocked and now years later has resurfaced with an entirely new narrative online. I want to begin by first going into the facts of the case. So, Lyle and Erik Menendez grew up in an affluent, picture-perfect family in Beverly Hills. Their father, José Menendez, was a successful entertainment executive, and their mother, Kitty, was a former beauty queen and a homemaker. But behind the facade of wealth and success, there were dark secrets that would eventually lead to one of the most notorious murders in American history. On the night of August 20th, 1989, a chilling 911 call was made by Lyle Menendez. He was frantically reporting that his parents had been shot and killed in their home. José and Kitty were found dead in their living room, shot multiple times with a 12-gauge shotgun. The scene was gruesome. José had been shot point blank in the back of the head while watching TV, and Kitty had been shot while trying to flee, receiving multiple gunshots to the face and chest. So Kitty actually saw her husband be shot, and then she was trying to flee, and they got to her. In the days following the murders, Lyle and Erik appeared to be grieving sons, devastated by the loss of their parents. They attended the funeral in tears, and to the outside world, it seemed like they were mourning an unimagined tragedy. But behind closed doors, the truth was far more sinister. After months of investigation, it was revealed that the Menendez brothers themselves had committed the murders. Lyle and Erik had purchased these shotguns days before the killings, carefully planning the murder of their parents. After pulling the trigger, they staged the scene to look like a mob hit, hoping to mislead investigators and avoid suspicion. So, going to buy the weapon, interfering with the crime scene, it just goes to show you this was premeditated. This was thought of, it was planned. But perhaps even more shocking than the murders themselves was what happened afterward. Rather than lay low or show any signs of remorse, the Menendez brothers immediately began spending their parents' fortune with reckless abandon. Within months, they blew through hundreds of thousands of dollars, you guys. Now, keep in mind, these kids had already been spoiled already because they were from an affluent, imagine Beverly Hills. Come on, y'all. But the amounts of money that they wasted on high-end stores, luxury cars, it was ridiculous. Lyle bought a Rolex, a Porsche, and even a restaurant in Princeton. Erik hired a tennis coach and competed in expensive tournaments. They lived in luxury hotels, went on lavish vacations, and splurged on designer clothes. At one point, they spent $15,000 on 3 matching Rolex watches in a single shopping spree. Their behavior was anything but that of grieving sons. Prosecutors later argued that this post-murder spending spree was evidence of the brothers' greed and premeditation. They had killed not out of fear, but to gain access to their parents' multi-million-dollar estate. Again, this is what the prosecutor argued. During the trial, the Menendez brothers testified in great detail about an alleged abuse they endured. The defense and they had a really good lawyer, so I gotta give it up to her. The defense argued that the brothers feared for their lives, that they were trapped in a cycle of abuse, and that taking the lives of their parents was an act of desperation, not of greed. These claims were powerful, and they led many to sympathize with the brothers over the years. The idea that they were victims of horrific trauma has shifted public perception, especially in recent years where social media platforms like TikTok have reframed the brothers as victims, even as celebrities of some sort. So in these past years, the rise of platforms like TikTok have brought new life to the Menendez case, because this happened in the 90s. So videos using the brothers' stories have gone viral, with many users claiming that the brothers did nothing wrong. That's a really popular statement that's been going around regarding this case. They did nothing wrong. They shouldn't be in jail. This narrative has gained so much momentum that the brothers are now seen by some as sympathetic figures who were justified in their actions. But this is where we need to draw the damn line, okay? I'm sorry. So, first of all, yes, there's no doubt that abuse leaves lasting scars, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Lyle and Erik's accounts of their trauma are harrowing and deserve empathy. No one should suffer the way they say that they did, because they were children. This was their father. I mean, it's unexcusable all around. But the truth is this. As hard as this is going to sound, trauma, as devastating as this is, does not excuse murder. And I cannot believe that in this year of 2024, that is a controversial statement. What happened to the Menendez brothers growing up was terrible, and they deserve sympathy for that. But their actions, murdering their parents in cold blood, cannot be overlooked. These were premeditated killings. They bought the weapons, executed their parents, and then spent millions of dollars of their inheritance in the months that follow. And yet, TikTok wants me to feel like these are sad individuals who deserve the world in a silver platter? Are you freaking kidding me? Fear, as their defense argued, might have been a factor, but it is not the full story. The brothers didn't just kill out of desperation, they executed a plan and then tried to cover it up. This is where the line between victimhood and accountability must be drawn. And I'm going to need everybody to please use their beautiful brains that God has given us all. The Menendez brothers were convicted of first-degree murder in 1996, and they are both currently serving life sentences without the possibility of parole. Justice was served for the brutal killings of José and Kitty Menendez. While we can acknowledge their suffering, we cannot rewrite history. Lyle and Erik Menendez took 2 lives that can never be returned, and I don't think anyone is sad about that, but there's a crime. Regardless of their circumstances, it deserves punishment. The Menendez case is one that sparks a lot of emotion. Abuse is real, and it could break people in unimaginable ways. But the rise of sympathy on platforms like TikTok can sometimes blur the lines between right and wrong, and I think groupthink is also one of the things that it's really dangerous in society. John Stuart Mill writes a lot about mob mentality, and we can get more into that. That's separate, but it's a factor that plays into this. We must remember that actions have consequences, no matter the circumstances that led to them. The Menendez brothers did something wrong, and while their abuse may explain their mental state, it does not excuse their crime. And we also live in a country where there are laws, and the law says if you take somebody's life, then you're guilty. It does not say there are circumstances that can lead. The only circumstance that there is self-defense. And now self-defense is when you are, someone is trying to take your life, or you are in a situation where your life could be threatened, not when a couple is sitting down in their living room watching the television and then people just break into it and then get rid of them. That is not self-defense. During the trial, the because there is much more to the trial. If you guys would like me to go more in detail on the trial, I would absolutely do that. We can even look at the court records and examine the videos. There was a lot to the trial, because actually the original trial was ruled a mistrial, and then they had to do another trial, and there's some evidence that they found because you got to remember, in the first trial, the prosecution was trying to make it seem like the whole abuse was fabricated, which I'm not saying. I do think the abuse is real, but that's what they were arguing. So like I said, we can go more into detail on that on another video. But again, the the main core issue is still there. You know, it's still the taking the lives of two other individuals who are your parents, by the way. Your freaking parents. And even if we do talk about the trial, we can even go and talk about the fact that you know, during the trial they completely changed their wardrobe to look like two little orphan boys. I mean, you kill your parents and then you say, "We're orphans." I mean, come on now. And I want to repeat myself for again, I don't know how many times I've said it, but I want to make it explicitly clear that I am not, you know, questioning their abuse. I think it's real, but my stance is that one wrong does not equal another wrong. And that's the part that kind of baffles me, the fact that people seem to forget that, because these brothers were extremely manipulative, tampering with evidence, going in on a shopping spree. And that's the part where I don't know why people don't understand that human beings are we have a lot, we're not one dimensional, we're multi-dimensional people who are capable of things. You could be a victim, but you could also be a villain. You know, you could be a villain, but you could also be a victim. It goes both ways. So recently there is a new Netflix series titled Monsters, the Erik and Lyle Menendez story, and there's a lot of backlash coming. I have not seen it yet, so I'm not really going to speak on that, but on social media I have seen the backlash over people saying that their portrayal is wrong or very salacious. Again, I haven't seen it. I might take a look at it, but a lot of the people are, you know, saying on social media, please don't depict them as monsters. Okay, I mean, again, we can have both. The facts are the facts, and that is what happened. So anyway, you guys, this was a short video on the Menendez brothers, just me coming on here talking about the case. That it's impressive how, you know, decades later it's still in the front lines of people talking about it. So if you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the Menendez case? Can trauma ever justify a crime? Let's have a respectful discussion. If you're coming on here talking crazy, you'll get your ass blocked. But I really appreciate y'all coming and listening. If there's any more true crime cases that you would like me to discuss, also let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe once again. Until the next one, you'll have a great one.